Look, the Redmi Note series has always been hugely popular in India, and the Redmi Note 15 Pro phones are finally here. I have both the Pro Plus as well as the Pro, and these have some big upgrades in terms of design, display, battery. There are some features that we only see in more expensive phones. So you know what, we've been testing this, and the big questions are what's good, what's bad, what's changed, everything in this video. So hit that subscribe button, don't forget that bell, and let's get into detail. So this is the Redmi Note 15 Pro Plus and the Redmi Note 15 Pro, and first up in the box you get everything: a case, a charger, the Type-C cable. The phone also has a pre-applied screen protector, noise. And you know what, let's start with the Pro Plus first, which we have in this new mocha coffee color, which I think looks pretty cool. It's vegan leather, so no smudges, and it feels very nice and grippy. And this is 8.7mm thick, weighs around 209 grams. But both the back and the front are curved into the frame, so it doesn't really feel bulky or anything. And if you're wondering, there's also blue and black options with fiberglass backs, and those are a bit thinner and lighter, but if you ask me, I'll pick this just because of how good it feels and looks. And durability is a big factor this time. I mean, this has the Redmi Titan structure, the SGS 5-star certification, Gorilla Glass Victus 2, which is mostly on high-end phones, and Xiaomi says it can handle some rough use, drop tests, and I've been testing that, and yes, it's actually all good. Plus, this has the IP66, 68, 69, and even the IP69K ratings, so better than just IP68 on last year's Note 14 Pro Plus. So you can dip it in water, take it for a swim, use a jet spray on it. Not sure why you do that, but it'll all be fine. Now you also get an optical fingerprint scanner, and it's a little too low for what I like, but it works reliably well, no issues. And yes, the screen also works when it's wet, and this is a quad curve screen. I know not everyone is a fan, but you have choices now, considering the Redmi Note 15 Pro has a flat screen, and this is a bigger screen now. This is a 6.8 range, 1.5K LTPS AMOLED, and it's got all the bells and whistles: 12-bit colors, 120Hz refresh rate, HDR10+, Dolby Vision, PWM dimming. It also goes up to 1800 nits in high brightness mode and 3200 nits with 25% OPR, aka 25% of the screen gets this bright, unlike a lot of the competition phones. And yeah, this screen is very bright outdoors. And Netflix here supports both HDR and Dolby Vision. The colors look very accurate when playing videos. It also controls the highlights and the shadows really well. So yes, this is one good display for watching videos and movies. And I also like the speakers. You get one on the bottom, one on the top, proper speakers, and it gets very loud, and there's a proper stereo effect. You also get Dolby Atmos, and there's also a 400% volume boost, which works great for videos, not for music, because there is a slight distortion. Now, as for the haptics, they're kind of decent here, but the big question has to be around the new cameras. See, this gets the new 200-megapixel master pixel main camera, and this is the global debut of the new Samsung HPE sensor, which has a big sensor size, f1.7 aperture, OIS, and along with that, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide. And on the front, you get an upgraded 32-megapixel selfie camera. Now, I'm going to spend some time with this in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and what I noticed is Redmi has worked on the processing, because every time I took a photo, the viewfinder shot looked okay, but the processing just took it to another level. And the photos almost always turn out super consistent and nice. I mean, the colors are very close to natural, very neutral, you have no oversaturation, even the HDR is quite good. It mostly handles the highlights and the shadows in most scenarios very well. But the details are one thing that could have been a little better, but even in low light shots, it controls lights really well, there's no blooming or overexposure, and the main camera here is actually very good. Now, Redmi did remove the 2.5x telephoto camera this time, but with the 200-megapixel camera, you do get 2x and 4x in-sensor crop options, and 2x is actually really good. Not exactly same as optical zoom, but very similar color processing, good details overall. 4x is good too, but yeah, it's not the same as optical zoom. Now, the portraits are good too. Now, as for the portraits, I mostly click these at 2x, and I found the edge detection and skin tones to be fairly solid. And as for the ultra-wide camera, the 8-megapixel camera does the job in terms of colors, but in typical 8-megapixel ultra-wide fashion, the details are kind of okayish. The selfie camera, however, is really good. It has very natural skin tones, lots of details, even in low light, and has this AI zoom feature which auto-expands frame when other people come in, really handy for group selfies. And talk about the camera features, you get dynamic shots now, aka motion photos, which is great for, Instagram boomerangs. There is a dedicated Ultra HD mode to click full 200-megapixel shots, which does pull out a whole lot more detail in good light, but again, bigger file size, so it's more situational. And in terms of videos, you can shoot 4K 30 FPS videos from the main camera, and the videos are stable because of the OIS. Now there are some focus jitters here and there, but I'm happy how it handles the HDR, but selfie camera is still limited to 1080p. Now moving on to the performance, this has the Snapdragon 7S Gen 4, an upgrade from the 7S Gen 3 on the 14 Pro Plus, and I like that it has 256GB storage in the base variant, but UFS 2.2 storage isn't the best at this price. I mean, this is not a performance-oriented phone and scores over 1 million in Antutu version 11, runs very smooth in general, apps open and close without any lag or stutter, and his gaming is good enough too for something like BGMI or COD Mobile. I mean, I got an average FPS of 59.3 in a BGMI Classic match, and it was smooth all along. Even COD runs smooth at 90 FPS, so good for casual gaming, but if you want to play something heavy like Genshin, you'll probably have to reduce graphics settings a bit. Now, connectivity-wise, there's a big surprise. This has the Xiaomi offline communication feature, which uses Bluetooth and the Surge T1S tuner to let you call nearby Xiaomi devices up to 1.9 kilometers, even when there's no Wi-Fi or internet, so pretty cool. Now, apart from that, you get the dual SIM here, Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.4, you get NFC for contactless payments, so no compromises. But another surprise is eSIM support. Yes, eSIM on a mid-range phone, which is something that is missing on a lot of higher-end phones too, so kudos to Redmi for keeping that. Now, coming to the software, this is running HyperOS 2, yes, Android 15 out of the box. And Redmi has promised the HyperOS 3 update soon, and this will get 4 years of Android OS updates and 6 years of security patches, so fairly solid. The good thing is HyperOS seems properly optimized on here, and there are lots of customization features, dynamic wallpapers, the Hyper AI features like the AI writing tools, AI subtitles, AI search powered by Gemini, circular search, and a lot more. Yes, there are some pre-installed apps, and you see some ads in global search, but you can obviously remove these. Now all of this is powered by a big 6500 mAh silicon carbon battery, and in my usage I got around 9 hours of screen on time with lots of Netflix, YouTube, Instagram, even some benchmarks in camera, and this was mostly on 5G and still had like more than 10% left. So most of you should be able to go 1 day plus with this phone. Even the charging speeds are great. You get a 100-watt charger in the box, which takes like 55 minutes to fully charge the phone. There's also 22.5 watt reverse wire charging, which is useful for your emergency situations. Now coming to the Redmi Note 15 Pro, design-wise, it's very similar to the Pro Plus. And this too comes in the fiberglass variants or the Mocha Coffee vegan leather option. And this too has the same IP ratings, Gorilla Glass Victus 2 protection on the front. Now one difference, like I mentioned, is the flat screen, and this is actually a bit slimmer while still packing a slightly bigger 6580 mAh battery, although it did cut down to a slower 45-watt charger. And apart from that, it has the same display as the Pro Plus, same 200-megapixel HPE sensor, selfie camera is 20 megapixels instead of 32 megapixels. And the big difference is in the performance, because this has the Dimensity 7400 Ultra, and that is paired with 8GB RAM and 128 or 256GB of UFS 2.2 storage. And connectivity-wise, you still get Bluetooth 5.4, Wi-Fi 6, but NFC and eSIM are missing on this, which are present on the Pro Plus, obviously. Now, as for the price, smartphone price is going up and up and up. It's kind of like the new in the smartphone world in 2026, all thanks to us loving AI. And yeah, the Redmi Note prices have also increased. The Redmi Note 15 Pro starts at around 27K with the bank discounts, and the Pro Plus, that's around 35K with the bank discounts. And I know these are supposed to be the more balanced phones out there. And yes, there are some meaningful upgrades like the better durability, better battery life, smaller things like HDR in Netflix, NFC, and especially eSIM on the Pro Plus. But I know it has UFS 2.2 storage, a basic ultra-wide camera, and no telephoto. So you guys tell me, what do you guys think of the new Redmi Note 15 Pro phones? Tell me in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.